We hear these terms thrown around all the time, right? Good companies, bad companies, corporate social responsibility, CSR. But today, we're going to skip the basic definitions. We're asking a way more interesting question. How does a massive company actually learn to be good? Okay, let's get into it.
Think about it for a second. It's a pretty fascinating question. Because it's not like some huge, complex organization just wakes up one morning and says, you know what, today we're going to be a force for good in the world. No way. It's a process. It's an education. And that education, that learning path, is exactly what we're going to walk through today. We're going to treat a company like a student, watching it move through different grade levels of what it means to be responsible, all the way from the absolute basics to some seriously advanced strategic thinking.
So first up is level 1. Think of this as the elementary school of CSR. This is where a company has to learn the most fundamental ABC-style building blocks of what it even means to be a responsible member of society.
And lesson number 1 is just vocabulary. What is CSR? Well, at its core, it's about a company realizing it can't just have a single-minded focus on profit. It's recognizing that, just like any person, it has a duty to be a positive influence on the community and the environment that it's a part of. The core curriculum here is something called the triple bottom line. The company learns it has to start measuring its success on 3 different but totally connected fronts: people, planet, and profit. It's this big shift where it's not just about the money anymore. It's about understanding that taking care of your employees and your community and protecting the environment, well, that's just as crucial to your long-term health as making a profit.
All right, so the company has passed level 1. It's time to graduate to the next stage, level 2. And this is where things get really interesting. This is where being responsible stops being just a nice idea and starts becoming a core part of business strategy.
And this right here, this is the big aha moment in this whole learning journey. It's when the company suddenly realizes that being a good corporate citizen isn't a cost, it's an asset. It's actually a competitive advantage that can drive growth, bring in the best talent, and build a much, much stronger brand.
And hey, there's hard data to back this up. Customers are literally voting with their wallets. Look at this. 2/3 of people are willing to pay more for sustainable brands. And an even bigger number, 78%, think it's crucial for companies to get involved in social justice work. The market itself is teaching this lesson loud and clear.
Sometimes lessons have to be learned the hard way. Major disasters like the Exxon Valdez oil spill, they became these tragic but absolutely critical teaching moments. They proved that if you failed to manage your environmental and safety risks, you could destroy a reputation that took decades to build. And that forced companies to evolve, to create proactive strategies, not just to avoid another disaster, but to protect their very existence.
And as the company matures, the coursework starts looking like a grad school syllabus. We're talking about managing complex carbon emissions, auditing global supply chains for ethical labor, using AI to check your data, and, crucially, learning how to avoid greenwashing, which is basically when a company talks a big game about being green but doesn't actually do the work to back it up.
Okay, so after all that high-level, complex strategy, you'd probably think the final lesson would be the most complicated one of all, right? Well, it's not. Level 3 is all about taking that mountain of complexity and boiling it all down to one very simple, very powerful truth.
This is probably my favorite part of the whole journey, because the most enlightened, most advanced stage of corporate responsibility circles all the way back around to an idea so fundamental you could honestly teach it in a first-grade classroom.
And here it is. This is the breakthrough. A company learns that it doesn't have to choose. It can become a super company, one where helping people and helping the planet is completely integrated into how it makes a profit. The 2 goals aren't separate anymore. They become one and the same.
And we have real-world examples of these super companies out there. Patagonia is the classic one, right? They've built an incredibly successful business, not in spite of their environmental mission, but because of it. Their commitment to the planet is their brand, it's their strategy, and it's their product all rolled into one.
So we've followed this entire educational journey, from kindergarten to a PhD in responsibility. What's the final lesson? What's written on the diploma when the company graduates?
I think it's this. The company learns that being responsible is deep and it's complex, with all these layers of finance and law and data. But at its very heart, the core principle, that idea of being a super company, is beautifully simple. It's something all of us can understand.
And this is why this whole learning journey matters so much. It's not just some abstract exercise for CEOs. This number right here shows just how personal it is. A huge majority, we're talking more than 4 out of 5 employees, say they want to work for a company that gets it. A company that has completed this journey and really understands its role in the world.
And that really brings me to a final question for you to think about. After seeing this whole learning path, from the basic definitions all the way to the super company idea, what does a truly responsible company look like to you?